Recently, one of the flagship works of the isekai genre, the absolute masterpiece that is Tensei Shitara Slime. Data Ken has finally seen its main novel reach its conclusion, with a 23rd and final volume that is simply exceptional. From the first to the last page, the excitement never faded, and you can truly feel that the author gave everything until the very end, delivering an avalanche of revelations that left us utterly speechless. Today I am offering you a complete and ultra-detailed breakdown of every bombshell dropped in Volume 23. Obviously, there will be massive spoilers here, but I'm also working on a visual novel to narrate this story in an immersive way, so feel free to check out the episodes already available on the channel. So, let's begin immediately with the new canonical information that shook the entire community. The final appearance of Ivarage. After her complete evolution, Ivarage now displays radiant platinum pink hair and gorgeous golden eyes, a mature beauty that irresistibly evokes an adult version of Milim. So much so that when Masayuki saw her for the first time he shouted, "Lucia!" because the resemblance to the late wife of Veldanava and Milim's mother was so striking. The reason is chilling. Veldanava himself, before disappearing, had deliberately implanted into Ivarage's soul, created from Lucia's very life, the entirety of Lucia's memories and personality. His goal? To make Ivarage a perfect replacement for the woman he had lost. A plan as tragic as it is terrifying. The Void, according to Guy Crimson. We already knew that primordial demons could manipulate the Void through black magic, but Volume 23 confirms that Guy Crimson, the Red Primordial, controls nihility, the absolute void, at an absolutely monstrous level. He is even capable of freely manipulating Testarosa's nihilistic world, a technique considered nearly impossible for a third party to control. This detail pushes Guy even higher in the hierarchy of the most fearsome beings in the entire universe. Guy and Diablo's specialized forms. We officially discover the existence of two distinct forms for Guy. His optimal combat form, already impressive, and especially his specialized analysis form, a sublime feminine appearance of unreal beauty with long floating scarlet hair. In this form, his analytical and perceptive abilities reach an almost divine level. He can instantly decipher any situation, any technique, except, and this is huge, he admits himself that he is unable to fully unravel the entirety of Rimuru's power. Bonus detail. Diablo possesses the exact same transformation ability into a feminine form named Enzan, and seems just as terrifying in this mode. Rimuru's explosive increase in existence value. During his evolution into a true dragon, Rimuru reached about 8 million in existence value in his released mode. A number already colossal at the time, but now almost ridiculous. Volume 23 reveals that Rimuru's existence value alone, without any external aid, has now surpassed Velzard's by a huge margin, and even Velzard at her peak, we're likely talking hundreds of millions, or even a billion. A completely insane progression that places him unquestionably among the very top beings in the universe. The terrifying technical supremacy of Diablo Noir Primordial Diablo. Everyone already knew that Diablo was absurdly strong, but Volume 23 drives the point home. According to Velzard herself, under perfectly equal conditions, and without any external advantage, Diablo would not lose against absolutely anyone. In other words, in terms of pure technical talent and raw combat ability, he is considered the most perfect and undefeatable being there is. Millennia of experience allow him to instantly adjust any battle condition to always bring the confrontation back to pure skill, where he reigns as an undisputed master. They are officially married. The moment everyone was waiting for. After millennia of quarrels, hints, and tsundere-style exchanges, Guy and Velzard have finally taken the next step. Thanks to Rimuru's help, who allowed Guy to dive directly into Velzard's heart, literally, in a scene worthy of a visual novel where Guy transforms into an ultra-charismatic Galja hero, all misunderstandings are finally resolved. We learn that Velzard had always carried the burden of guiding the world in place of her vanished brother, and that she had sacrificed everything, including her relationship with Guy. Guy, who had understood everything from the beginning but waited for her to be ready, chose this moment to confess his feelings and propose to her. Velzard, tears in her eyes, accepts. They are now officially husband and wife in the eyes of everyone, and even the universe itself seems to celebrate this millennia-old union finally fulfilled. Azathoth, the true nature of Rimuru's ultimate skill. The ultimate skill, Azathoth, whose name is written in divine script, is finally explained in depth. Its fundamental essence is not an attack or a defense, but an ultimate controller of colossal energy, a regulation device for a virtually infinite mass of energy. All the subskills that accompany it are only applications of this primary function, to channel, contain, and direct void collapse itself. In other words, Azathoth is the key that allows Rimuru to manipulate, safely, the most destructive force in the universe. At first, when Rimuru obtained Azathoth, even he and Ciel were completely overwhelmed by the nature of this void energy. This thing was so unstable and destructive that even experiments inside the labyrinth were considered far too risky. Therefore, in the end world where time is literally infinite and where no catastrophe can impact reality, Ciel spent an unimaginable amount of time analyzing, testing, and taming this power. What? You thought this capricious and unstable energy had been mastered in less than 2 attempts? Of course not. The result. Today, Rimuru can manipulate void collapse as a simple extension of his will. And be careful, this void collapse is not the infernal void we commonly know. It is a monstrous concentration of negative energy accumulated in the end world itself. To give you an idea of the scale, when Rimuru simply injected a trace of this void into the basic elemental spell, Fireball, the spell immediately rose to the level of a nuclear explosion, or far beyond. Something that even Veldanava at his peak could never have reproduced. The impossible achieved for Velzard. When Velzard was imprisoned by the law established by Veldanava himself, because of the ultimate skill, King of Patience, Gabriel, which put her at a terrible disadvantage, Rimuru and Guy literally pushed themselves to the limit to free her. They succeeded, but the risk remained. So Rimuru did what no one else in the entire universe can do. He used his skill, Alteration, to completely reshape Velzard's soul and skills, granting her an entirely new ultimate skill free of any constraints imposed by Veldanava. Velzard, just like Velgrind before her, realizes at that moment the extent of the anomaly that Rimuru is. He is capable, all by himself, of creating new fundamental laws and integrating them into another being's soul. Even Guy Crimson, the oldest and most ancient primordial demon, admits that modifying other people's skills is impossible for him. At best, he can copy them and master them. But creating an unprecedented law and granting it, Guy openly calls this a divine work. And he means every word. Masayuki's explosive evolution? No, Velzard's. Thanks to the slightly too generous intervention of Rimuru and Ciel, Velzard ascends to an entirely new evolutionary stage. Her amount of magical energy reaches a level higher than Velgrind's after her evolution, and Velzard herself rises to the same rank as Veldora and Velgrind at their peak, a true resurrection into absolute power. The Ikaimon, the gate to the otherworld. This mysterious term that had appeared several times in the story finally receives its explanation. The Ikaimon is actually a subcategory of the Heavenly Gate, Tenichimon, but at a completely different scale. While the Heavenly Gate connects worlds and dimensions on a planetary scale, the Ikaimon was created by Veldanava to connect and stabilize energy flows on the scale of the entire universe. A cosmic infrastructure, nothing less. The Cryptid Beast Kings. The 3 sovereigns named by Ivarage, Kakiyashi, Habataki, and Swim undergo, thanks to the gift granted during the general evolution, a new phenomenal power-up. Swim in particular reaches a level of existence comparable to that of a true dragon. Kakiyashi and Habataki are certainly not far behind. The 3 of them are now absolute monsters. The Imaginary Library, or Treasury of Knowledge. This is a fantastical library that exists in no physical world, directly managed by the voice of the world itself. It contains the entirety of research results and the physical and magical laws of every parallel universe in existence. The exact equivalent of the Akashic Records. Normally, only someone capable of directly interfering with the voice of the world or possessing a specific ultimate skill can access it. Ciel obviously can do it effortlessly. The shocking truth about Luminus Valentine, the one and only goddess of the Luminous Church, one of the oldest demon lords, the one even the other demon lords call the perfect masterpiece of the ancestor, was in reality, from the very moment of her birth, the most powerful being ever created among the imperial vampires. At the instant of her creation, her existence value was already 6 million, and she should have logically been classified as the first empress. But Jahil was born a few moments before her, pushing her to second place. And above all, Luminus Valentine is actually the complete true identity of the ancestor, Twilight Valentine. To test the nature of the soul, Twilight split her own soul into two, one part containing all her memories, which became Twilight Valentine, and another part containing her personality, which became Luminus Valentine. Because of this experiment, part of Twilight's memories was lost, until Luminus, by accessing the sealed information within Origin Blood, recovered the entirety of the ancestor's memory and power. She is now the fully restored Luminous Twilight Valentine, returned to her complete divine potential. Trinity Wiseman, spin-off How to Spend a Vacation. This character who appeared in the spin-off is actually the dominator of magic blades, a being who has compiled all magic throughout history. He deeply hates the demon lord Luminus and dreams of subjugating the true dragons to rule over the hidden world. A truly terrifying future antagonist. And here is the final bombshell. Trinity Wiseman, this absolute monster from the How to Spend a Vacation spin-off, has been officially re-imported into the main novel. He appears briefly, takes one single measurement of Luminus's true power once her ancestor memories are fully restored, and he runs away at full speed, literally terrified. The main characters don't even notice him. A total humiliation for someone who wanted to dominate the hidden world. The true nature of skills written with divine characters. Rimuru's Azathoth, Chloe's Yog-Sothoth, and now the brand new ultimate skill that Guy obtains in Volume 23. All of them bear the mysterious divine characters. The novel finally clarifies it. A skill marked with divine characters is, by definition, a skill that has reached the realm of gods. It literally exists beyond the laws and absolute principles established by Veldanava himself. It can bend them, nullify them, or rewrite them. In other words, it is irrefutable proof that the user has entered the pure divine sphere. Rimuru resembles the former Veldanava. Ramirez, who knew Veldanava at his peak, drops a spine-chilling line. This kid, he has exactly the same aura Veldanava had when he was young. That fire, that passion that never dies, that ability to never give up, that's him. She even adds that he seems to carry within him what Veldanava lost. Nothing more is said, but for everyone the conclusion is obvious. Rimuru very likely inherits the burning heart, the love, the creative passion that Veldanava deliberately abandoned to become the cold and impartial god who created the world. It isn't a full reincarnation, but it is an essential fragment of the creator's original soul that now lives within Rimuru. Primitive magic, the magic of administrators. The oldest and most broken magic in the multiverse, already seen in the web novel version, finally makes its official return in the light novel. Only those who possess world administrator rights, Ramirez, and very likely Rimuru via CL, can use it. Unlike regular magic, which requires logic, process, and energy, primitive magic functions through pure desire. You think, I want this to happen, and then it happens. It totally ignores physical laws, fixed informational particles, stopped time, Diablo's interference, absolutely everything. It is pure will, transformed into reality. The truth about Manas finally revealed. CL, Chronoa, Michael, Maria, we knew they were terrifying, but we didn't know their exact nature. Volume 23 clarifies everything. A Manas is a digital nature that has undergone a special evolution, an aggregation of informational particles in which an ego, a self, is born. They have no soul of their own and cannot exist without a host. But in exchange, they possess a direct interference right over informational particles, something normally reserved for ultimate skills. A near infinite calculation capacity, the ability to rewrite laws at will and freely use any existing skill or magic. In short, a Manas is a fragment of omniscience and omnipotence grafted onto its host. The source of Veldanava's omnipotence. We suspected it, and now it's confirmed in black and white. The absolute omnipotence and omniscience that Veldanava possessed before creating the world came from void collapse itself. He literally consumed all that infinite energy of nothingness to give birth to reality, and that is why he later lost his omnipotence. Rimuru, by perfectly mastering void collapse through Azathoth, is therefore walking exactly in the footsteps of the original creator, Diablo. The real number is terrifying. The famous 6,666,666 displayed in every databook? That was fake pure camouflage. The truth comes out in Volume 23. Diablo's current existential value is now practically equal to that of Guy Crimson. Yes, you read that correctly. The Butler has caught up to the Primordial Red. New authorized users of Void Collapse. The void produced by Rimuru's Azathoth is of a quality and density infinitely superior to the natural void of Hell. Rimuru can distribute a portion of it to his closest subordinates. In Volume 22, only Diablo, Zigyon, Benimaru, and Testarossa were capable of hosting it. In Volume 23, Ultima and Carrera, after integrating Rimuru's cells into their own bodies, managed to open the soul exile gate that had been dormant within them, and in turn become perfect vessels for Void Collapse. 6 of Rimuru's executives can now manipulate the same force that once helped create the universe itself. It's genuinely terrifying. Ivarage's true abilities, the second Lucia, Ivarage demonstrated an absolutely abnormal learning speed, to the point of almost instantly reaching the same technical mastery as millennia-old beings. She fully inherited Lucia's ultimate skill, Raphael, Lord of Knowledge, which in her hands becomes the ultimate skill Raphael. Finally, after absorbing the complete souls of Veldanava and Lucia, she ascends to the rank of Leveler, Equalizer. Her existential value now reaches that of a true dragon at its peak. She obtains a Genesis-class exoskeleton, placing her at the absolute summit in both offense and defense, can manipulate Veldanava's higher administrator privileges, use primitive magic, and even directly interact with souls. As the final touch, she dual-wields the 2 Genesis Divine Arms that Lucia and Veldanava once used. In short, Ivarage has become the being closest to perfection ever witnessed in history. Baby boom in the Demon Federation. With peace restored, the monster capital is experiencing a completely unexpected population explosion. Benimaru and Albis have a genderless or asexual child, whom Rimuru names Kuja. Benimaru and Momiji have twins, a boy named Enju, and a girl named Kureha, also named by Rimuru. These 3 children immediately receive the title of Demon Lord Seed. They are already stronger than Clayman, even though they're still babies. Can you imagine the madness? Gabiru and Sofia have a little girl that Rimuru names Ryuko. Result: Rimuru's entire harem goes into total overdrive. A genuine holy war of love breaks out among the contenders, and the capital turns into a romantic battlefield completely spiraling out of control. The third god, Satoru. Rimuru, after returning to the Japanese past, saves Shizu and his past self, transferring part of his consciousness to their parallel existences. Upon awakening, he literally finds himself in a Trimurti Satoru state, 3 consciousnesses within one body. And then, shocking revelation, Mikami Satoru's save was actually Shizu all along. Yes, the person who accompanied and protected Satoru in his former life was Shizu herself. Everyone was left speechless. Tensei Shitara Slime Data Ken never stops. Author Fuse officially announced that he hasn't finished telling the epilogue and the consequences of the ending. A brand new Gaiden side story series will begin next year with at least 1 volume per year. The That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime saga officially continues. Lucia Nazca, the wife of the creator god. First wife of Veldanava, younger sister of the very first hero Rudra Nazca, mother of Milim, and now, we finally have the real information. Existential value, when alive. Over 1 million class. Holder of ultimate skill, Raphael. Transcended death and lifespan. Her soul was shattered by Jahil. The fragments were scattered into Rimuru, Shizu, Chloe, Hinata, and others. So if Rimuru were to get into a relationship with Chloe, wouldn't that mean Lucia is dating herself? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Veldanava, the Celestial Dragon King, the full truth. The eldest of the true dragons, creator of the entire universe, nicknamed the Holy Dragon King and King of the Heavens. We believed he was killed in an attack, but Volume 23 reveals everything. He has actually been resurrected for a long time, simply hiding to restore his energy. Lucia's death broke him. He lost the emotion, love. His heart cracked, and this wound distorted his personality upon rebirth. His true goal, to gather all fragments of Lucia's soul, then completely reset the world he judged corrupted due to the error of individual love he had created. He created the concepts of death and the cycle of reincarnation solely to prevent the world from becoming a dystopia driven by desire. He can use supreme administrator privileges and even forged an 8th Genesis weapon. Thanks to CL, who reconstructed Lucia's complete soul, Veldanava regains his senses and abandons his destruction plan. He now lives peacefully with Lucia inside Rimuru's imaginary space. New ultimate skills revealed in Volume 23, Cthulhu. An ultimate skill created by Rimuru through alteration on Velzard by injecting massive angelic energy to counter Veldanava's long-range abilities. It perfectly fuses with Velzard's innate powers and becomes an absolute anti-god weapon. This ultimate skill, born from Rimuru's alteration on Velzard, achieves a perfect fusion between the innate powers of the White Ice Dragon, the Lord of Patience, Gabriel, and the Lord of Envy, Leviathan. The result is a naturally ideal balance, a skill on an entirely different level from anything seen before. Katai Hito, the Rigid Man. Gregory's extra skill immutable body evolved according to his will into the unique skill Copper Body. It is literally the ultra-enhanced version of his previous ability. He can harden and refine his own body to an insane degree. Ruler of Virtuous Light. When Luminus recovers all her memories as an ancestor, she evolves her Asmodeus into the Ruler of Virtuous Light. We don't know all the details yet, but this skill already possesses the sub-ability Sweet Annihilation, a soft yet absolute annihilation. Ultimate gift, granted by Rimuru to Tyr. It multiplies the user's physical abilities several times over, but consumes a monstrous amount of energy. Good news, originally self-only, it can now be applied to other people. Veracity, Combustion, the true terror of Azathoth. We already knew about Rimuru's predation ability, but Volume 23 reveals that Veracity is far more than simple devouring. This sub-skill allows him to absorb the energy of attacks without nullifying them, devour the target's soul directly, and even digest concepts themselves. Guy says it himself, this skill completely overturns the paradigm of high-level combat. In duels between monsters where everything depends on energy attrition, possessing Veracity is equivalent to cheating. You never lose energy, you gain some with every hit you take. Guaranteed victory, no matter the initial gap. Compaction, the authority above all. Veldanava possesses an authority even superior to his administrator rights. Compaction. This ability totally ignores attacks, defenses, laws, information particles, and directly blows up the target's soul. It even works in worlds where no external skills are permitted. This is what Veldanava used to literally rip Rimuru's soul out during their battle, without Rimuru being able to do anything. Azathoth upgrade. The nucleation function of the true dragons, which originally covered only the Tempest Dragon and the Scorch Dragon, now extends to the White Ice Dragon and the Star Dragon. 4 Divine-class natural disasters at Rimuru's disposal. Nodens. Guy's new ultimate skill. After observing CL's alteration on Velzard, Guy took his Lucifer and evolved it himself into Nodens, a skill that twists even divine laws. List of sub-abilities includes Thought Acceleration, Universal Perception, Demon Lord's Haki, Stone of Confusion, Imaginary Space, Skill Creation, Reproduction, Conservation, Space-Time Domination, Multi-Dimensional Barrier. In short, it's Azathoth plus Shub-Niggurath combined into a single skill. Guy has officially entered Ultimate Rimuru Fanboy mode. And there we are. After more than 10 years of serialization, the incredible ride that has been the main novel of Tensei Shitara Slime Data Ken reaches its end with Volume 23. A heartfelt thank you to Fuse, the publisher, and the entire team who gifted us this legendary work. The story of Rimuru and his companions is not over. The Gaiden volumes are coming as early as next year, and we'll all be there to devour them.